Hey, it's me again, and in case you haven't seen it already, I'm just going to mention real quick that I have a merch store. You can get some Bizabizow shirts on there with me on them, this video background themed trans flag shirt, this Find Squirt Buckley shirt, and most relevant to this video, you ever wonder what an animatronic themed around my channel aesthetics would look like if a certain company turned it into a charmingly bad plushie? Well, here's an artist's rendition of what that may look like, but on a shirt. I know that's a lot of mental gymnastics there. It's a funny plushie. It's a shirt with a funny plushie. There's also some fun little stickers and even a couple of mouse pads for ya. You can get all this at and only at crowdmade.com/collection/bizabizow. Link in the description. It's a great way to support me and the channel, but you also get some cool things in the mail for it. It's a win-win. Go check it out. Okay, actual video time. Oh my god, guys, we're in deep trouble. We gotta make more FNAF plushies quick, or else this timer is gonna go off, and it'll explode, and the world will. If we. Guys, I'm sorry. I wanted to do something cool for you this episode. I know how much you guys like cool action stuff and all that, so I thought I could put something cool in here, but I couldn't pull through. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't deliver on the cool stuff, guys. Okay, since this is a part 2 to our last Fixing FNAF plushies, we'll be covering the other half of FNAF 4's animatronic roster that we didn't get to in that video. And I don't know why I always repeat this, as being completely content with just jumping directly into the middle of an ongoing series is not something most people are willing to do, but go watch the last part and all the others if you haven't seen them. Okay, thanks. In this episode, we'll be covering all of the animatronics and animatronic variants that were added to FNAF 4 in its Halloween update, and also Nightmare Fredbear and Nightmare, who were in the base game and aren't a part of the Halloween gang, but I wanted to save for the very end. I wanted them to be a little special. And what do you know, I'm predictable. Just a few quick things before we start. Firstly, I wanted to show some more of your guys' fan work, specifically based on my designs from the last episode, because you guys started whipping up some amazing stuff almost immediately. I love it all. Y'all are the best. Look at this, they made Freddy, and it actually has the little, you can actually, oh my god.
Oh, hello again. It's me, Flutterty. Sorry it's been so long. I was down in the mines. Ty forgot to mention that she incorrectly credited some art last time. This should actually be credited to @Malphym on Twitter. Ty says she's very sorry. Oh, also, sorry my voice sounds different. Like I said, I've been down in the mines mining my fucking ores.
Secondly, just one more self-plug. I'm sorry. I started streaming recently. Woohoo! I started playing some Metroid Prime Remastered with my good friend Oof Troop, and it's been a lot of fun.
I loved when Freddy got real scared and said, "Gregory, our security was breached."
Gregory, we're ruined! Oh my god, we're ruined!
The plan is to keep streaming from here on out, so keep a lookout if you want to catch one live. If not, though, the VODs are all saved. Alright, that's all I needed to flap my mouth about this time. Let's get to making some plushies.
The jack-o'-lantern. The chocolate ice.
Jack-O-Bonnie and Jack-O-Chica are the only two characters in this episode that have Funko plushies, so we may as well start with them. These two, as we know, are simple recolors of the Nightmare Bonnie and Chica models. They were just Jack-O-Lanterned for the Halloween update with only minor structural changes. So, given that fact, I was extremely shocked to find out that for Jack-O-Bonnie, Funko didn't do their favorite thing in the entire world, just reusing a pre-existing plush base, even though that would have actually made complete sense in this case. Instead, they made a new base plush design for this guy with this thinner head, huge bean-shaped snout, and this jaw ring thing. And, you know, this actually looks more like the model than the regular Nightmare Bonnie plush does. It's still not that accurate, and it certainly doesn't look good, but it is an improvement. I gotta commend them for that, at the very least. Since we're going to be making a recolor of my Nightmare Bonnie design from the last episode anyway, it's not necessary to pick this design apart and talk about what we're changing and all that. I'm just showing it to you so you know it exists, and we'll know how much better ours will be. Hopefully. So, here's ours. The only thing I really had to worry about was the colors, which I made sure were more accurate than Funko's. Here we have darker pumpkin-y colors instead of super bright saturated ones. The most important part was making all of the body holes, especially his eyes, all bright yellow to give him the appearance of being lit up from the inside. You know.
Jack-O-Lantern.
There are a few small structural differences from Nightmare to Jack-O, though. The most obvious are his missing eyeballs, but there's actually another one that you may or may not have noticed already. If it weren't for the fact that I had to study these designs intently for this series, much like Nightmare Foxy's different pupils that I mentioned last time, I literally would have never noticed that Jack-O-Bunny's nose is missing. Yeah, it's just not there. This is probably to make him look more like a jack-o'-lantern, with the nose hole and all, but the only time you ever see the light shining through it is in this teaser for the Halloween update, not in any of the actual renders in-game. So, really weird detail. I mean, it kinda shows through from some angles in Help Wanted, but, you know, source material, priority, and all that. For accuracy's sake, I also removed his nose, but instead of making the quote-unquote hole yellow, like the light is shining through, I just made it black. This is how he's seen in the game anyway, like I said. Also, I made Jack-O-Bunny's bright red tie more of a rust color here to fit in with the color palette as a whole a bit better. It's just easier on the eyes. And that's pretty much it. On to the next one.
No,
Now hold on, everybody. Let's not jump to any conclusions.
Jack-O-Chica has just a little more going on. As you can see, pumpkin colors once more, no eyes, lit up body holes, all that good stuff. But this time, we have a new little magnetic buddy to make. Jack-O-Chica's Nightmare Cupcake was replaced with this little jack-o'-lantern here, going along with the theme in a really cute way. I'm not sure if calling this thing the Jack-O-Cupcake would be accurate, as it's a pumpkin, but you could maybe make the argument that this thing would be classified as a variant of the character, the cupcake, alongside the others. The wiki doesn't do this though, so maybe don't listen to me. Oh, right, and here's Funko's design. It's kind of a Toy Chica recolor, but does have some additions that I briefly mentioned last time. Yeah, it's bad. You can just go ahead and toss that one, though. Don't worry about it. I got you a new one, pal. Here you go. Everything's pretty standard here. I grabbed the same Jack-O colors, slapped them on Nightmare Chica, and took out the eyes. But of course, now I have the Nightmare Cupcake replacement. As you can see, it's a little more on the green side, which may seem incorrect to you, given that Help Wanted Special Delivery and most of her merch have standard orange ones. But no, in FNAF 4, it's decidedly not orange, but instead a yellowy green, which is a color that a pumpkin can be in real life, in case you were wondering. If you're a real FNAF head, though, you'd know that FNAF 4 and all Jack-O-Chica appearances from here on out actually aren't the only instances of this jack-o'-lantern model showing up. Not a lot of people know that coinciding with FNAF 4's Halloween update, there were also ones released for 1, 2, and 3's PC and original mobile ports. All they did was add little Halloween decorations to your office if your clock was set to October 31st, but look, it's not FNAF 2 though. I don't know what was going on there. Anyway, that's it for Jack-O-Chica.
Jack-O-Lantern.
Now that those two are out of the way, it starts to get a little more interesting. Alright, time to... wait. I have to make a standalone Jack-O-Cupcake, don't I? Oh god, this is the most boring one so far. No one has ever asked for this to be a plushie. Okay, I gotta pull out the big guns this time. Okay, so basically I made a bigger version of the small one, and it had stitches, like, it has stitches, and there.
there just isn't room in here. Save me.
Although I'm not huge on the design, I can at least say that Nightmare BB will make for a somewhat easier time in the plushie conversion process, compared to the other nightmares at least. Look, there isn't a single scratch on this guy. We haven't seen that for a while. He's also essentially just a wider-headed version of his regular counterpart with a big old jaw and teeth, so even simpler. And here he is. Wait, that's not right. Hold on, sorry, I think I mixed up my files here. There we go. Sorry. Awkward. The first thing you'll probably notice is his big ol' silly stupid grin, which was, of course, crucial to get right. How else is he gonna say,
Hello?
And hey, look, the return of the finger nubs. Since his long, crooked fingies are a big focal point for his design, and because they're the same size as the puppets, this is definitely an appropriate use for them. And before anyone says he has an incorrect digit count, it was on purpose this time. I stylized it to be 4 instead of 5 in cartoon fashion.
5 fingers? Ooh, freak show.
Shut the fuck up, Bob!
So it would look strange to have an anatomically accurate number of fingers on a plush like this. So, back off. Compared to OG Balloon Boy, the colors are a little different, with purple stripes instead of blue, red eyes and nose instead of blue and orange respectively, and black buttons instead of white. Oh, and the blue propeller. I can't forget that. How would I be able to live with myself? And bada bing, bada loon, Nightmare Balloon Boy. That didn't make sense, did it? Fuck.
Don't fucking look at me like that. That's a weird looking fucking cat. Ma! Yo, there's a stray cat outside. I don't want it starting a fight with Lucy.
Okay, I said before that Nightmare-Chica was my least favorite Nightmare design, but I changed my mind. I think it's actually this one. I appreciate the Mangle representation, but Nightmare Mangle is just so gross looking, and not in a good way. This looks more like a Nightmare fan design than an official one to me, honestly. Nightmare Foxy looked fine enough, I guess, but taking his head and putting these super bright Mangle colors on it just doesn't work in my opinion. Also, this goofy evil robot head. This is a spirit Halloween decoration. But I gotta try my best to make this into a decent plushie, so let's go. I think the best way to go about this is the simplest one, starting with our regular Mangle's body with Nightmare Foxy's head and going from there. So, this is my result. It's pretty messy looking, but it's honestly the best I can manage with this design. All things considered, I think I did a good job, but depends on how much you like the character, I guess. As you can see, I changed the bare metal part of the original Mangle to closer resemble this one, more in vibe than anything else, with a darker color as well, matching the one in game. The endo head is now rounded with a different face, roughly capturing the real thing's look. The legs now match Nightmare Mangle's better, with only one colored limb this time around, and 2 bare endo legs instead of just 1. The head is Nightmare Foxy's, but sized down and with a slightly altered jaw, done to reduce the hypothetical head weight a little bit. But aside from that, it's pretty self-explanatory. An eye was removed, red cheeks and lips were added, and all the colors were changed to follow suit. And that's it, Nightmare Mangle. You may not want to hold that thing too close though, and make sure you have your rabies shots.
It's Slenderman!
I gotta stop myself from complaining about these designs. Let's just make the plushie, alright? This one we get to have a little more fun with, as this thing's got some extreme proportions. Namely, these incredibly long tentacle fingers, way longer than the original puppets. Given our past method, these will be similar to the little nub fingers we've included before, but a bit longer. Not nearly as long as the actual model, of course. We gotta stylize that shit. Everything else, for the most part, will be built off our original puppet, but altered to fit Nightmarionne's appearance. Here's what I came up with. As you can see, the face has all the expected features, including the teeth, which are just flat stitching this time for their flat mouth, and the slight head shape change. The body is the puppets with a wider chest, similar to what Nightmarionne has, with some little rib plush parts added for the skeletal look. These are attached to this vaguely spine-esque plush part on their back here. FNAF 4 doesn't have any renders showing this model's backside, so this is based on Help Wanted's model. The legs were made to have a rhombus-y shape this time. The model's legs get wide in the middle and slender at either end. And of course the fingers. As discussed, these are longer than the puppets, but only moderately, as the tiny proportioned look has to be maintained for these plushies. These are indeed 3 fingers as well, just like the puppets, but are placed to look less like human hands. Also, you may have noticed the licorice-looking stitch lines on their arms and legs, and that's to give them the look of the model's twisted tentacle limbs. Also, side tangent, does anyone under 40 out there like black licorice? I'm genuinely curious. I don't think I've met a single younger person that has, and for good reason, because that shit's nasty. Drop a comment below if you like black licorice. Tell me to die. And Nightmarionne is completed. Now it's finally time for the big boys. The real big boys. Let's go. Now, I get why one would shy away from a design like this. The jump from this to this is quite extreme with the utter amount of detail added, so yeah, I could see Funko avoiding him in favor of other more plushy-suitable designs. But that's if they cared at all. You know how Funko is. Look at how many reuses of the Freddy base they've done before. What's one more to throw on the pile? What was stopping them from making this yellow and purple and calling it a day? Hell, they made this fucking thing into a plush, and who gives a shit about the Twisteds? All this to say, it's quite strange why a Funko Nightmare Fredbear plush doesn't exist, even though it would most certainly be atrocious. But who needs Funko, right? Let's do what they couldn't do. Because, you know, we're making shit up and not actually making these physically. Once again, I'll just show the design and we'll go into detail as we go. And here he is. Wait, oh my god, I mixed it up again. There, okay. I'm sorry, I'm a darn mess today. The first thing worth mentioning is that this is the second time we've used the rounder body. The first was for Toy Freddy, who is also a notably rotund fella, although Nightmare Fredbear is even more so. The trickiest part of this design to get right was the head shape. Nightmare Fredbear has a very large head compared to all the other nightmares, which aside from being yellow is definitely his most defining feature. He's got that triple-decker, ultra deluxe fucking burger with extra cheese, sauce, extra patty. A lot of his head real estate is dedicated to his massive mouth, so I made sure to keep that shit tall and wide. His head shape is actually pretty similar to Nightmare Bonnie's, just way wider and with a smaller snout. Since Fredbear loves slurping on tar, I can't blame the guy, his model has these giant black gums connecting the teeth to the mouth, so I made the surrounding area of his mouth all black to give that look without actually giving him gums. You know, my stance on that sort of thing. Something I've never understood about his design, but enjoyed anyway because of its uniqueness, are the weird little wing wire things he's got in his eyes. I don't know what they're supposed to be, aside from just an interesting little place to put some wires, but hey, I like it, and it's on the plush too. You might be wondering about the whole stomach mouth thing, and well, unfortunately, there was no way I could find to include teeth along his stomach line without cluttering the design up too much, so instead of doing that, I opted to make the vertical intersecting stitches longer, making his belly stitch way more prominent than the others, with a look closer to a mouth. Oh, and also the little finger stitches are silver and a slight bit longer than normal, to match his slightly longer silver fingers that the other nightmares don't have. And that's pretty much all there is to say about this guy, but we do have one more to tack on as well. And he's grody.
Did you not see the spaghetti? I did, and I know who you are. You're Nightmare...
No.
What the fuck?
Nightmare is another color-swapped model, so we'll give him the usual. Here's my design. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Sorry about that. It's always fucking something. So, with Nightmare's design, I unfortunately had to just completely ignore the fact that he's translucent. Obviously, see-through plushies don't exist, although if this was a figure, he'd totally have that early 2000s electronic translucent thing going on. This, too, means his visible brain won't be accounted for, unfortunately. Though maybe there could be a little secret plush one hidden on the inside of his head if you cut him open, like Toby Fox's plushies. Don't cut your plushies open though, please. He's just an opaque recolor here, which is totally fine in my book. I only ever think of Nightmare as a dark-colored Fredbear with a yellow hat and tie anyway. And wow, that's our 2 final FNAF 4 plushies completed. Would you look at that? We're finally done. This was definitely the most challenging bunch of characters to design for so far, by a long shot. But the challenge made these 2 vids a lot of fun to work on, especially with how much I ended up liking some of my designs in particular. It is a huge relief though, knowing that we won't have to deal with this kind of withered, toothy animatronic design trend ever again. At least not nearly as visually dense as the Nightmares. Thank God. I don't know if my wee girl could handle it. So, with FNAF 4 done, our plushie count has risen to 51 characters, 25 of those being ones with existing Funko plushies and 26 without. Imagine how many moths you could feed with all that cloth and material. Moths eat clothes and cloths and stuff, don't they? When we get back to making FNAF plushies again, we'll be on sister location, which means we get to go back to making some gay-looking animatronics into plushies. That'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Anyway, I don't really have any wacky bit to end this video on, so, hey, you know what you should go watch? I Think You Should Leave on Netflix. That's required viewing material for this channel, alright? They added a new feature to YouTube just for me, that it checks for I Think You Should Leave in your browser history. And if it's not there, it blocks all my videos for you, forever, until you watch it. You can't see them. This is real. Guys, there's a timer counting down. The world will end if you don't. And as always, I'd like to thank my skrunklies over on Patreon. Thank you for supporting me. Spider Bee, Prism, April B, Creative JK, Adelaide Parade, Maylin, Soy Sauce Flavored Tide Pod, Galaxy, Chico Mode, Pewilliver, Fred Shrooms, Blarkin Snarf, Frigid Duck, Zealous, Rubbish Bunny, The Siberian, Goji Dragon, Awesome Ace Z, Xeno Dude Face, Wunga, Marcy Ho, Lilith Swartzlander, Just Jenny, Fedco, Zayseer, Wilford MF Worf, Daniel the Spaniel, Certainly Cecilia, The Papini Bros Emporium, The White Sludge Monster, Kana-chan-san, Sled Masters, and Cat Does a Thing. If you'd like to join these wonderful folks, you can check out my Patreon in the link in the description. Anyways, thank you for watching, and peace out.
Hey, oh! Don't think I didn't see you steal my completely original character Nightmare JJ, you twat! I saw her on screen for like a full 3 seconds. And unfortunately for you, so did my gaggle of liars. Don't think you... Wait, did she leave already? Is she gone? Are you fucking kidding?